Hello everyone. So once you've completed your talk and you've had a practice how to give that talk, you need to be thinking about questions, because part of your level 2 work will be asking questions about somebody else's presentation. So the type of questions, you've got closed, open, tag, and I'll be talking to you about the analysis and interpretation questions and the next level prediction questions. Yes, I know that we're at level 2, but it's always good to put in a next level question. This video is going to start with closed questions. So, closed questions, yes, we talk about questions that when you're asked, they're formed in a way that allows you to just say yes or no. But also closed questions are questions that limit the type of answer that you'll get. So in this video, at the end, I'm going to show you how you can create the question from a statement so that you're really clear. Don't ask that type of question. And then I will talk to you about how do you answer that type of question. So this video will just be about closed questions, and then you can follow other videos for the other types of questions to use. So don't use closed questions, and if you find that somebody after your presentation has used a closed question and it's made you really just think yes or no, try to tag onto that. So yes, however, or no, but, or yes, sometimes this happens as well. And when you look at the questions for the tag questions videos, I'll go through those answers in more details. So for yourself, try to avoid closed questions. Sometimes it's hard because you're listening to a presentation and you suddenly think of a question. It turns out to be closed. So do make sure that you look at the tag video to look at how you can answer those. So let's get back to our closed questions. So closed questions. Did you? I did. Do you like? Oh, I do like. Are you? I am. Were you? I was. Do you prefer this or this? It's closed because it limits how you might answer. And I answered all of those positively. You could also answer them negatively. Did you? I didn't. Do you like? I don't like. Are you? I'm not. Were you? I wasn't. Do you prefer this or this? A choice question is also, remember, a closed question because it limits you to just making a choice between those ideas that have been presented in the question. So, do closed questions begin with a verb? Does that mean you need to understand what the auxiliary verb is? Am I right in thinking I started my question with a verb? Is it an important way to start a question? Are you surprised that closed questions start with an auxiliary verb? Have you seen how closed questions work now just by listening to my questions about using the auxiliary verb? And has the key idea for closed questions resonated with you? So let's have a look at that a little bit closer. Do or does? You're going to say yes or no, or you're going to answer in a very limited way. Oh, Jane, do you like going on holiday to Spain? Yes, I do. Or no, I don't. Does your family like to go on holiday with you? Yes, they do. Or no, they don't. So there's your auxiliary verb, do and does, and you're limiting the answer. So it's a closed question. Am is our auxiliary verbs. If I answer a question about the sun, perhaps with am, I'm interested in knowing, Jane, do you go out to Spain every year? Yes, I do. Is it hot in Spain at the moment? Yes, it is. Are you going back to Spain this year? yes I am. Or you could answer in the negative there. So you could practice yourself with using the auxiliary verb at the beginning of a sentence, not in your level 2 exam, but as part of a study practice. And really think to yourself, how could somebody answer that question? And you'll find it's limiting. So what about have and has? Have you enjoyed your holiday, Jane? Yes, I have. Hopefully you wouldn't be saying no, I haven't. But there's your option, yes or no. Has your husband enjoyed the holiday, Jane? Yes, he has. Hopefully it wouldn't be no, he hasn't. But there you can see there that you've got an option of yes or no when you're using the auxiliary verbs have and has. So they're going to be at the start of questions. We're not going to ask at level 2. So this also applies if you're using any of these verbs in your questions, and very often we would use these verbs when we're in conversation: can, could, will, would, may, might, shall, must. So you'll be using that naturally as part of level 2, but I want you to think about how you reserve those for conversation, and when we're working on level 2 speaking and listening, I want you to focus on questions that aren't limited to closed questions. So at the beginning of this video I said that in closed questions you can create the question from a statement, or the other way around. You can write the statement and then create a question, and that's how you can tell if you have a closed question or not. Well, we all know that you can tell if they're questions or statements because you're going to use a question mark, and the way that you ask the question is going to intonate that it is a question. And the statement has a different intonation, as you know, so that's going to end with the full stop, and that's really easy at level 2. So we're going to end this video with looking at the points that we started with, the question, and how you see them as a statement. So you can see they are closed questions. So, do closed questions begin with a verb? Yes. Closed questions begin with a verb. So I might just answer yes or no, or I might answer with one sentence, which is really indicating limited. Does that mean you need to understand what the auxiliary verb is? Yes, maybe. No, I don't know. Still limiting that answer. So I believe for level 2 you need to understand the use of the auxiliary verb. You're using it because English is a language that you're using all of the time. However, you do really need to understand how we use it. So am I right in thinking I started my question with a verb? Yes, I started all of those questions with an auxiliary verb, and you can stop the video and have a look at that and check how that works out. Is it an important way to start a question? Well, yes, no, maybe. Well, it's only really an important way to start a question in a conversation. We don't want to be seeing closed questions in your level 2 exam. However, 1 maybe or 2 maybe, that's fine, don't worry about it. But it is an important way to start a question in a conversation because it's inviting an answer, and in a conversation you would use the auxiliary verb naturally as you're talking, and then you would add detail because you're having that conversation. So are you surprised that closed questions start with an auxiliary verb? Are you? Yes or no? I'm not surprised. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that closed questions start with an auxiliary verb. Have you seen how closed questions work now? That's for you to answer. Yes or no, I need to go back over the video and look again. I'm not quite sure. I need to have a look at that in more detail. And has the key idea for closed questions resonated with you? I'm not sure. You don't know what resonated means. Or, yes, it has. I understand it more now. Or, I'm not sure. I've got to go and practice the use of those questions now. But for me, the key idea for closed questions has helped me think about how I ask those questions. So just look at that a little bit closer so that you can actually see that's it, the questions that we've got. Do closed questions begin with a verb? Okay. And make sure that you do go back to thinking about how that works and revisit sections of the video. So in the next video, open questions. You really need this. Bye now.